It's not often that a vehicle hits the market and takes a segment by storm, while simultaneously flying below the radar. Yet that pretty much sums up the last few years for the Mazda CX-30. For subcompacts, their value to consumers is mainly being economical, practical, and affordable. But Mazda doesn't believe that's enough, which is why they dropped the CX-3 for a more capable and favorable crossover that has the intangibles that others don't possess. In a price range where your expectations are set rather low, the CX-30 has been a breath of fresh air and could very well be the pick in this segment. So here are 5 reasons why you should buy a 2023 Mazda CX-30. Vehicles that are produced in higher volumes from mainstream brands aren't always looked to as being special or captivating in any way, as they're primarily used for weekly commutes and the occasional road trip. The Mazda CX-30 really isn't one of those crossovers, and while the initial appearance can be deceiving with the plastic cladding around the wheel arches, when you step inside and get behind the wheel, you'll be hard-pressed to find anything close to resembling the detailed and perfectly crafted interior for a subcompact priced below $40,000. Even for a mid-level trim, the softer touch materials on the dashboard, door panels, and even the exposed sides of the center console is rare to find in this segment. The heated leather trimmed seats complement the CX-30's driving environment and also its minimalist cabin layout. And despite the visible piano gloss black trim, first impressions are far from considering this crossover as being built cheaply. When you factor in that the Mazda CX-30 is going head-to-head with the Honda HR-V, Toyota Corolla Cross, Subaru Crosstrek, and now the Dodge Hornet, many of the rivals and close competitors won't pay attention to the smaller details. And while Mazda's offering in this market isn't necessarily the most spacious or family-friendly, it makes up for it and then some with an interior quality that's found in more premium vehicles. It might come as a surprise that a top-of-the-line Mazda CX-30 Turbo Premium Plus has a starting price of $35,400. But it may shock buyers even more that they can receive a well-equipped model at around $30,000, with all-wheel drive coming standard across the board. With features such as dual-zone climate control, heated seats, a power moonroof, rear cross-traffic alert, and blind spot detection being available on the lower end of the lineup, you don't need to break the bank to receive a solid all-around great daily driver. As we alluded to earlier on, the CX-30 truly is a premium crossover for the mainstream market that not only looks upscale, but feels luxury-like both behind the wheel and on the road. On higher trims, you receive a power liftgate, which is still uncommon to see for subcompacts, and you'll have 20 cubic feet of room behind the second row seats. While we'd suggest taking a look at the CX-5 if you do have a family, as the second row can get cramped, it's still a viable alternative to a hatchback if you want the extra ground clearance. In the subcompact crossover market, performance can either make or break a vehicle, and in some cases is the sole redeeming quality that could change public perception. As we've already discussed, the CX-30 has a lot going for it, where it's not outrageously expensive, nor is it lacking when it pertains to interior comfort. But what about the on-road experience? For 2023, you'll have 2 options to choose from: a naturally aspirated or turbocharged 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine that's paired with a 6-speed automatic transmission, which this alone outshines the CVT found in other Japanese crossovers. While we had no issue with the naturally aspirated's 191 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque, just knowing you can upgrade to the turbo makes the leap in price totally worth it. With 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque, the CX-30 is one of the quickest crossovers in its segment, reaching 60 miles per hour in around 5.5 seconds, which is almost identical to the new Dodge Hornet. One of the main takeaways and why we love this crossover so much is with its handling capabilities, as the heavier and almost European-like steering input is unlike anything you'll experience from its domestic rivals. Despite not having a sports-tuned suspension, you'll enjoy throwing the CX-30 around on a back road. But even during those times you're commuting to work, you won't be cringing when traveling over bumps and imperfections in the road. Sure, it's not going to resemble a luxury SUV with air ride suspension, nor is the CX-30 dynamic in the true sense of the word, but for a subcompact crossover, it's the closest to being flawless under $40,000. It's been known for a while now that Mazda sees themselves as an emerging Japanese luxury brand that's ready to leave the mainstream market behind to no longer compete directly against Honda and Toyota. And when staring at the design of the CX-30, you see more intention of craftsmanship and streamlined body lines compared to the Chevrolet Trailblazer or Toyota Corolla Cross, as the front fascia is classy and upscale, yet also somewhat understated with the aerodynamic body lines. Mazda's approach for a sleeker appearance matches well with the CX-30, as the chrome accents outline the gloss black grille and integrate into the headlight housings. Of course, there will be plastic cladding for the front bumper, and it's here where the LED turn signal indicators will be mounted, which pulsate rather than blink for a unique look. Then coming around to the back, the CX-30 has a rounder rear fascia compared to the typical boxy appearances we see throughout this segment, which not only gives this crossover a more athletic appeal, but when it comes to styling, has characteristics not common at this price point, as it's based off a Mazda 3 hatchback. As we've seen throughout the exterior, gloss black accents make their way to the final third of the CX-30 with an eye-catching rear spoiler that contrasts well with the body color. You will have dual exhaust outlets surrounded by plastic cladding for the rear bumper, just to remind us that the CX-30 is in fact a crossover with a higher ground clearance and is more rugged than a Mazda 3. And giving this vehicle an upscale vibe, you will have LED taillights and LED turn signal indicators, which some rivals don't offer. Smaller crossovers typically aren't the most appealing, as they're often underpowered, but they're usually lacking the refinement and quality that can be found in larger SUVs. Ever since its arrival, the CX-30 has become a staple of the Mazda lineup, but more importantly, has become one of the best subcompacts you can buy right now, regardless of whether you opt for the naturally aspirated or turbo powertrains. Mazda's ambition to go upmarket has led the brand to designing crossovers you'll actually want to drive. And while the CX-30 can get a bit pricey on the higher end, its entry-level luxury interior and impressive on-road performance makes it a great bang for your buck, especially if you've been eyeing an Audi Q3 or BMW X1. It's for that reason, if you want to go upmarket, but not willing to pay the cost associated with luxury brands, then certainly take a look at the CX-30. We hope you enjoyed this quick buyer's guide for the 2023 Mazda CX-30. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And if you're interested in buying a CX-30 or any other subcompact crossover, make sure to check out our full reviews to help you find your next vehicle. And thanks for watching.